Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ship, Icon of the Seas, is unlike anything else in the Royal Caribbean fleet. Like anything new, there are some things we loved about Icon of the Seas, but we also think the cruise line made some huge mistakes with its newest megaship. So if you're thinking of taking an Icon of the Seas cruise, this video is for you. As we share what we loved and hated about Icon of the Seas, up next. Welcome aboard, cruisers. I'm Don B from Eat, Sleep, Cruise, where we help you see the world one port at a time, and a special welcome back to our Eat, Sleep, Cruise subscribers. Now, if you're new to the channel, Heidi and I have been on over 75 cruises, and we've sailed on all the largest cruise ships in the world. So not just the mega ships in Royal Caribbean's fleet, but the mega ships from other brands like Carnival Cruise Line, Norwegian Cruise Line, Princess Cruises, MSC Cruises, Disney Cruises, you get the idea. So I know a thing or two about mega ships. When it comes to the world's newest, largest cruise ship, Icon of the Seas, one thing that really surprised us about this ship were all the new upcharges. The one thing we used to say about Royal Caribbean is that the cruise line didn't nickel and dime. Norwegian Cruise Line is famous for offering a variety of onboard attractions that are an upcharge. But until Icon of the Seas, Royal Caribbean seemed to mostly eschew this industry trend, offering complimentary experiences like laser tag, for example. Well, someone in the finance department at Royal Caribbean must have sailed on a competitor brand and then had a eureka moment. Now on Icon of the Seas, there are more upcharges than ever before on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, and there's even upcharges for casual dining. For example, cruisers wanting to experience the Crown's Edge need to pay up. This 90-second experience, which I guess you can best describe as a really small ropes course, is nowhere near as thrilling as free alternatives on actually Norwegian Cruise Line ships, as well as Carnival Cruise Line ships. Further, cruisers wanting to get one of the day beds next to the adult pool will need to spend hundreds of dollars for this upgrade. This is in addition to the casitas on the pool deck, which are an upcharge fleet-wide. On our sailing, these casitas were going for $800 on a sea day. The price did include some bottled water and a welcome drink though. There are also upcharge casual dining venues. Along with Playmakers, which is also on several Royal Caribbean ships, there are upcharge snacks at the Trellis Bar. Base Camp, the new casual dining option at Thrill Island, actually has as many upcharge items as it does complimentary items. While cruisers can get a hot dog or tater tots for free, a hamburger or grilled chicken sandwich will cost extra money. So will the cheese curds, waffle chicken nuggets, and shrimp bao buns. In our opinion, all the food at Base Camp really should be complimentary. This would be more comparable to offerings on Carnival Cruise Line, for example, which has Guy's Burger Joint and Shaq's Big Chicken, or the Dive-In Poolside Burger Joint on Holland America Line. Also, the new Deserted Milkshake Bar is an upcharge. Okay, we would expect that, but it's not covered in the drink package or Royal Caribbean's Ultimate Dining Plan. We ordered 2 milkshakes here, and it cost over $35, and that definitely wasn't worth the money. We'd opt for the upcharge ice cream at Izumi in the park instead, but of course, there's plenty of places on Icon of the Seas you can get free soft serve, and there's free ice cream in the Windjammer Marketplace buffet. Then there's the new Pier 7 specialty restaurant, which serves items like chicken fingers and pancakes at a la carte prices for brunch. You can get similar items to these at other venues on the ship for free. This is not to discount the dinner menu at Pier 7, as we did enjoy those options. Perhaps Pier 7 should be complimentary for breakfast or brunch, similar to Johnny Rockets on Oasis class ships, and then charge a la carte prices for dinner. Just a suggestion. And the ship does have several other included attractions, like a flow rider and mini golf. So they at least still have that over Norwegian Cruise Line's newest mega ships. However, one thing we loved about Icon of the Seas was several of the other new casual dining spots. Luckily, you don't need to spend any money on casual dining. One of our favorite options on the ship was the AquaDome Market. This food hall is a mix of NCL's Indulge food hall on the Prima class of ships and the street eats concept you find on Carnival Cruise Line ships. On Icon of the Seas, there are 5 stalls offering perfectly portioned small bites. For us, it was tough to pick a favorite as we enjoyed all the options. From the Asian selections at Ginger to the various mac and cheeses, the freshly made gyros, and the decadent crepes, we visited this spot multiple times during our cruise. Likewise, we were fans of the new Surfside bites. This takeout window served burgers, popcorn chicken, and churros, reminiscent of the snacks you might find at a theme park. The Pearl Cafe is an updated onboard cafe, and the offerings here were leap and bounds better than the Cafe Promenade found on other ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet, from the steak and egg breakfast sandwich to the barbecue chicken biscuit later in the day. The dessert case also had some perfectly portioned desserts that were pretty tasty. Another nice feature, taking a nod from Virgin Voyages, was the grab-and-go options available at the Pearl Cafe. Now cruisers don't have to wait in line to grab pre-made sandwiches, salads, and fruit cups, among other takeaway options. Some other casual dining spots you find on other Royal Caribbean cruise ships also received an update. There are new selections at the Park Cafe, which is open for tapas from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Likewise, El Loco Fresh, the casual quick service restaurant, is also open later on the ship until 8 p.m. So families have more options for dinner than just the Windjammer and the main dining room. Whenever you tell others that you like to sail on cruise ships that have 4,000 or 5,000 other passengers, the one thing they inevitably say is, how do you avoid all those other passengers and enjoy the ship? So one thing we're happy to say about Icon of the Seas is that it has a brand new redesigned layout, and unlike some new mega ships from other cruise lines, the ship didn't feel cramped or crowded. Actually, it felt the opposite. It felt very open and spacious. Of course, the cruise line made some design tweaks to this class of ship from the Oasis class, to create several unique spaces that disperse crowds. With the addition of the Pearl in the Royal Promenade, the cruise line was able to recapture over 30% of the interior space. So this area feels wide open and never overly busy. The two-story promenade is now home to several bars and lounges, which all have been elevated and reconfigured to offer more space. The same is true for the outdoor decks. Instead of having one pool deck and a sports deck, the top of the ship actually is home to 4 unique neighborhoods. The Hideaway, which is the adults only pool area, feels just that. It's tucked away from the rest of the ship all the way aft on deck 15. Meanwhile, the Cloud 17 pool area sits above and away from the busier main pools down 2 decks. And then there's the Royal Bay pool, the largest family pool. This deck 15 spot hosts events and is most like the main pool on other megaships. Still, there's also a family pool in the Surfside neighborhood, a pool with a swim-up bar and another part of Chill Island, and then there's the Cove pool across the way on deck 15, which offers plenty of shaded seating. Our cruise was sailing at close to double occupancy, and the pool decks never felt busy. There were plenty of lounge chairs available on the various decks. Besides the Hideaway, we never had issues finding a spot, even during a busy sea day. Before sailing on Icon of the Seas, we were skeptical of the cruise line repositioning the AquaTheater to the top of the ship. But creating the Surfside neighborhood specifically for families with little kids was a smart move. Instead of families crowding the pool deck with the splash pad, now families have an entire area of the ship all to themselves. The same could be said about the Category 6 Waterpark. Instead of having some water slides jammed right next to the other pools on the main pool deck, the Waterpark has its own home on Thrill Island. The layout and design of Icon of the Seas functioned better than any other megaship we've sailed on to date. The decor and design of Icon of the Seas is also very modern and inviting. The Park Cafe in Central Park looks more like a trendy metropolitan restaurant than a cruise ship quick service venue. There's also the 1400 Lobby Bar, which is a sleek and stylish venue with an equally sophisticated cocktail menu. So we were stunned when we entered our stateroom. The cabins on Icon of the Seas are pretty bland and basic. We stayed in a standard ocean view balcony cabin, which seemed interchangeable with almost any other Royal Caribbean cruise ship in the fleet. The cruise line did incorporate a few upgrades though. The bathroom has a new rectangular shower design with a glass door. The closet has been redesigned as well, and while it offers more clothes hanging space, there are no shelves. These tiny shelves are now tucked behind the mirror and barely deep enough to put a small packing cube. Under the closet are 4 storage cubbies with annoying metal baskets that aren't even on a track. We were still able to unpack fully with some of our crew's cabin hacks, and while Heidi and I were able to manage just the two of us, we're not really sure how a family of 3 or 4 will be able to fit everything in these standard cabins. The cruise line did add additional outlets throughout the room. These include the typical lineup on the desk and 2 additional USB-C options. There are more USBs near the bed, and even additional ones near some narrow shelves tucked around the corner from the desk. Overall, with all the other updates throughout the ship, we expected more from these accommodations, similar to the oversized cabins on Norwegian Prima. Moving around 5,500 to 7,000 passengers does take some unique design elements. However, when we boarded Icon of the Seas and saw that it had intelligent elevators, I had a mini panic attack. While these type of elevators seem to work well in hotels, they were a complete disaster on our MSC Seascape cruise. Luckily, Royal Caribbean has plenty of large elevator banks, and there were never issues requesting a ride up or down throughout the day. Even during busy times, like after a show or after dinner, the system had no issues finding space for everyone needing a lift. We even secured an elevator with our carry-on bags on disembarkation morning on the first attempt. Now that says something about this technology. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, like some hotels on land, the elevators on Icon of the Seas assign cruisers to an elevator based on the selected deck. So you select which deck you want to go on, and then it will assign you to one of the elevators, labeled with a letter like Elevator A. The wait times for elevators were never long, and we never had an issue with there not being enough room when the assigned elevator arrived, which were actually 2 huge issues we had when sailing with MSC cruises. We mentioned earlier that we loved a lot of the casual dining, but we didn't love all of it. While most of the casual dining on the ship was great, the Surfside Eatery was a huge letdown. While many cruisers raved about the taquitos and the lasagna bites, these items we sampled were passable at best. We gave the Surfside Eatery several chances, and none of the meals were memorable. The food always seemed like it had been sitting under warmers for too long. While we don't love buffets in general, the Windjammer food quality far exceeded this venue. I'm going to be fair here. The restaurant is geared towards kids and families, so there are plenty of offerings for the little ones, like sliders, mini pizzas, and chicken nuggets. I like to eat, and I'm not really that picky, but then the venue had items like grilled cheese wrapped hot dogs. For the parents, there were offerings like grilled fish or chicken parmesan, but these items were often dry, didn't have much flavor, and were barely edible. Personally, with so many great other casual dining options, we suggest you grab food elsewhere before heading to the Surfside with the little ones. Royal Caribbean debuted 10 new bars and lounges on Icon of the Seas. Couple that with classic bars like the Schooner Bar, and there are plenty of places to grab a drink on this new ship. Overall, the ship offers some of the best mixes of nightlife and bar menus of any cruise ship. We're also happy to see the cruise line did not raise the drink prices on the ship either. A majority of these new beverages are included in the deluxe drink package. The new 1400 lobby bar is a swanky upscale bar on the promenade. It serves up a signature cocktail menu inspired by the different classes of Royal Caribbean ships. The new Ryan Bean offers espresso-infused drinks near the tranquil and beautiful overlook. The typical pool bar received an upgrade with the addition of the Hideaway bar. Like the Oh My God, the signature drinks here are refreshing and light. On the Surfside neighborhood, the Lemon Post mixes up both alcoholic and zero-proof drinks, featuring lemonade that all members of the family can enjoy. Lou's Jazz and Blues features New Orleans-inspired cocktails like a Hurricane and the Jazzy Sazz. Like we said earlier, there's also other staple Royal Caribbean venues that have received a facelift. The Schooner Bar is more open and has an updated menu with new favorites like the Toasted Marshmallow Old Fashioned. The Point Feather Pub has a new facade and upgraded bar drinks. Likewise, Bolero's has a tweaked menu and a new location on the promenade. The real challenge is fitting all these venues and drinks into a week-long cruise. Icon of the Seas has a variety of staterooms and suites, a total of 28 different room categories actually to be precise. On this ship, another crossover from sister brand Celebrity Cruises is the addition of infinite balconies to many of these stateroom categories. For instance, cruise ship has over 1,500 ocean view balcony staterooms, but about 1/3 of them are infinite verandas. Likewise, some suites have a traditional balcony, and others have the new infinite balconies. Cue the Darth Vader meme. No! As you can tell, we're not huge fans of this style of balcony. It's true that these cabins offer more interior space, but to us, the infinite veranda is just a glorified, oversized window. We prefer the separation with a traditional balcony where cruisers must physically step out of the cabin to experience the ocean breeze or the sunset. This also means that the air conditioning will stay on in the cabin, whereas it shuts off when you open the infinite balcony window. For some regions, we do think there is an advantage to an infinite balcony. For instance, we believe these infinite verandas are ideal in Alaska or other cooler destinations. But in the Caribbean, we like being outdoors, which the infinite veranda does not replicate. In an attempt to be the best of every vacation, Icon of the Seas has a full-fledged water park. The Category 6 at Thrill Island includes 6 slides and 5 unique attractions. Many of them are record-breaking slides like the Frightening Bolt, the longest drop slide at sea, or the Pressure Drop, the first open drop slide at sea with a 66-degree incline. The Category 6 water park is as thrilling as many water parks on land, and I have to admit, I loved it. In fact, it offers some attractions that almost have the similar excitement level as the Thrill Water Park on Perfect Day at Coco Cay. The best part too is that on our cruise, it was open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So cruisers can stay on board at a port of call day and knock out the slides in no time. I rode the Pressure Drop 3 times in a row with no wait, mainly because Heidi couldn't time those social media videos appropriately. But hey, I still had a blast doing it. I barely had to wait to ride the Duo mat slides and the Frightening Bolt as well. During our stop in St. Thomas, the family raft slides had the longest wait, and that was not even 10 minutes. But even on sea days, the wait times seemed to be manageable. According to the president and CEO of Royal Caribbean, the water park can process 1,500 cruisers in about an hour. So you shouldn't be standing in line all day during summer vacation. Just make sure to read all the restrictions and requirements ahead of time. Riders are weighed in before riding every attraction. Also, cruisers can't wear accessories like jewelry or action cameras on most slides. While in Thrill Island, there are other complimentary activities the kids and teens will love too. There's a rock climbing wall, mini golf, we already mentioned the flow rider, surf simulator, and a sports court. This makes for endless days of fun in the sun. While I loved Category 6, perhaps one of the biggest hits inside Icon of the Seas was the Dueling Pianos bar. The venue was packed every night and for good reason. The 2 performers on our cruise, Tim and Sarah, were fantastic. The massive bar serves a music hall drink menu, but you can also get other classic cocktails there too. But the real draw is the dueling pianos, of course. The musicians are lively and belt out classic sing-along songs by request. This venue is high energy and the perfect addition to the Royal Caribbean fleet. Get to the venue early though, as getting seats is nearly impossible. We had the best luck getting seats at the late night sessions, but others told us they arrived very early for the first sets and were able to get seats too. In addition to the dueling pianos, Icon of the Seas still features several other musicians in various venues around the ship. For more classic piano tunes, cruisers can head to the Schooner Bar. There's also acoustic guitar music in the pub, Latin music and dancing in boleros, and jazz tunes in Lou's Jazz and Blues, just to name a few. When we heard about Icon of the Seas, we knew we had to be on the very first cruise on this ship. We booked our cruise as soon as it became available to Crown and Anchor members. So for our inaugural cruise, we were able to get an ocean view balcony stateroom for a reasonable rate for 2 adults of $4,100. Flash forward about 6 months before the cruise, and we saw that the same room category was going for close to $7,000. We've been investigating prices ever since, and the one thing we hate about Icon of the Seas are the outrageous cruise fares. We investigated pricing for a similar cruise we went on, an Eastern Caribbean cruise, for 2025, so about a year out. And a guaranteed ocean view balcony cabin was going for over $8,000 for 2 adults. And the price nearly tripled what we paid if you wanted to cruise on Icon of the Seas over the holidays. Of course, prices change all the time, so these prices might be different, but standard ocean view balconies, when we recorded this video, were listed at $12,000 at double occupancy around Christmas. Not only are the cruise fares high, but as we mentioned earlier in this video, there are more upcharges than other ships in the fleet, And these upcharges, they're not cheap. Take the Empire Supper Club, for example, which costs $200 a person to dine there. Yup, I do get it. It's an 8-course meal with a cocktail pairing and live music. But is it worth $400 for a couple to enjoy this 2.5-hour experience? Given Heidi is a picky eater, we couldn't justify the cost. And it looks like these high prices will continue. The second ship in the Icon class, Star of the Seas, looks just as expensive. The inaugural cruise for that ship is over a year out now, in August of 2025, and Ocean View Balconies are going for $8,500. You can certainly cruise on other ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet, or comparable vessels from Carnival Cruise Line, NCL, or find a cabin in MSC's Yacht Club for less money. Heck, I'm going out on a limb here and saying you might be able to find a week-long cruise that's cheaper on Disney cruises than a similar itinerary on Icon of the Seas. We think Royal Caribbean has some of the best entertainment in the industry. We're happy to report the shows were terrific on Icon of the Seas. While not the most creative title, the AquaAction show in the AquaTheater was a heart-pounding, thrilling spectacle. The LED dome adds a layer of immersion and storytelling to this visually stunning performance. The new elements of the theater make the show a must for any cruiser. The Wizard of Oz in the main theater is a can't miss too. The technologically advanced theater brings this beloved story to life throughout the entire theater, from a tornado whipping through the crowd to flying monkeys and a fantastic cast. This 90-minute production is one of the best Broadway adaptations at sea. Additionally, Icon of the Seas is home to 2 ice shows in the newly enlarged and redesigned Absolute Zero. With better sightlines and more space, the cast of skaters dazzle with intricate shows, like Starburst's Elemental Beauty, which brings the essential elements of the universe to life. There's also the second show, Once Upon a Time, which is a family-friendly production that occurred on a sea day and did not require reservations. Finally, you don't want to miss the adult comedy happening in the Comedy Club. The attic is now on Deck 6 on the second level of the Royal Promenade and is home to comedy and other events like the Liars Club. After sailing on Icon of the Seas, we can say that Royal Caribbean retains its position as a leader in cruise ship entertainment, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible on a moving vessel. Now that you learned a little bit about Icon of the Seas, we're sure you want to know more. Well, lucky for you, right here on YouTube, we have our complete Icon of the Seas cruise review. In that video, you can learn more about the dining, onboard entertainment, nightlife, onboard activities, and more. That way, your Icon of the Seas cruise is smooth sailing.